welcome to another episode of Blind Grace podcast. My name is Blanche. I am so excited today about this special guest. She is usually behind the camera. She's one of the amazing people with Fourth Floor, but today I have Victoria Armstrong with us. Victoria, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Victoria Armstrong. I am a mom of 3 beautiful children. Jaden Armstrong, who is 15, Cecilia, who is 2, and Rossy, who is 7. I am also the co-owner of Fourth Floor Creative Agency and the founder of Curate for Women Who Work.
Awesome. So I have had the opportunity to volunteer and see some of the amazing work that Victoria does. Today, we're going to be talking about something a little bit different. That's pretty dear to both of our hearts. She has 3 kids, like she mentioned earlier, and one of them is Rossy. And I have known Rossy since he was probably 9 months old. Yeah, I was involved in the beginning with some of his therapy and stuff. So today we're just going to talk about what it's like having a kid that's visually impaired, a little bit about getting that diagnosis, that news. So tell us a little bit from the beginning. Obviously, I know your story, but tell us a little bit about Rossy.
Yeah, so Rossy was born completely blind. I knew immediately when he was born that he was blind. I know that the nurses and the doctors probably thought that I was insane. But I literally asked the first day that Rossy was born, is something wrong with his eyes? Is he okay? Turns out 3 months later, his pediatrician asked, do you still have concerns about Rossy's vision? And I said, yes, I do. I think he's blind. And so she's like, yeah, I think that, I want to refer you to an ophthalmologist. So we went to see this ophthalmologist. He took a closer look at Rossy's eyes, and then he diagnosed him with optic nerve hypoplasia. He didn't really explain to us what that meant. He just really he had this devastated look on his face, which really kind of scared Ross and I. And then everything that he had said about it, Ross just started Googling these symptoms. And so I don't remember if the doctor outright said optic nerve hypoplasia, but we found out that it was optic nerve hypoplasia. And so then he referred us to an endocrinologist. And that's where we learned that with this visual impairment, Rossy also has diabetes insipidus, and he also has hypothyroidism. As Rossy got older, we realized that he mainly uses only the right side of his body. The left side does not perform as well.
Right.
So we had him to take a series of tests to figure out what that was about. Is it because he has more vision on his left side? Does he have more vision on his right side? He has cerebral palsy on the left side.
Right.
So it's been quite the journey. It has been a long journey, but where Rossy is now is nowhere near where
No fear, nothing.
nowhere near where we started with him. So
Absolutely. And 2, so you just knew when your mommy got that something was wrong. A lot of times when I'm working with families, they don't know. So a lot of times they don't get a diagnosis of a visual impairment until much later. So if you're watching this and you think there may be something going on, push. Your mommy or daddy, what's wrong, so definitely push for that. So tell us one of the things, you and I have talked about this over the last couple of years. What is one of the things that, as a parent, you want for Rossy?
I would like for Rossy to live a life that is really independent. I would like for Rossy to be able to to not just find a job, but really thrive in the career that he wants for himself. But before then, I want Rossy to graduate from high school with an actual high school diploma. If he decides that he wants to go to college, I want him to go to college, and I want him to thrive in every space that he's in. I want Rossy to find love. I want him to, if he desires to be married, I want him to find a wife that loves him and that fully knows and understands him, and that's not afraid of, his health issues, but could really just love the person that he is. There's so many things that I want for Rossy, but mainly his independence.
Yeah. And absolutely. And from the beginning, that was a struggle, just getting him to walk. We got him up and moving with the help of his PT and his OT and his whole team. We got him up and moving. Now he's running. The sky's the limit. The biggest thing with Rossy, if you don't know him, I share a lot of stuff on my social media. Rossy's Joy that y'all have started.
Yes.
And if you're ever just having a bad day, you can go and watch him. And he's just like this ray of sunshine. He always, if I'm ever having a bad day, I go and see Rossy. And he greets you and thinks you're the only person standing in front of him. You're the most important person. Yes. And it's just, I love everything about it.
Friend ever.
Yes, absolutely. So tell us a little bit, you said from the beginning, y'all have had obviously some health struggles and cerebral palsy. Obviously that has not stopped Ross at all. Mm-hmm. But is there anything else as a parent of a visually impaired child that you want to let the people know, or something that maybe you have struggled with?
Initially, we struggle with not knowing where to find our community, where to find our people that we can lean on, that could help us. Another thing that we struggled with was actually believing what we didn't already see with Rossy. His doctors basically told us, like, most people with the disease that Rossy has, they don't ever gain independence, and so they were like, he may never walk, he may never talk, and that's okay. And that he may be, what at the time she said, mentally retarded. Now we understand that, there's spectrums of an intellectual disability, but they did not give us much hope for Rossy. And I remember, like, the very first time that I saw him smile, it really kind of lit this fire on the inside of me for, like, the possibilities of, like, anything and everything that Rossy can do. And so now what I would tell parents is, don't give up on your kid. I think that, oftentimes because we don't see it right in front of us, we can't actually know exactly what they could do, but there's so many resources out there. I'm so grateful for you, Blanche. I know we tell you this all the time. You have come into our lives and become like a fairy godmother of some sorts. And now Blind Grace is what it is. But I would really encourage people to just, continue to do your research and give your kid the very best possible chance at thriving.
I love that. So Rossy is walking, he's talking, he's obviously tells lots of stories. He's obsessed with trucks right now.
Yes.
One of the things that you and I talked about a while back was sports, and people. There was a conversation you and I had about, they had asked if Rossy could ever play sports. Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit about, if you think that's even something for Rossy.
Listen, if Rossy is interested, we will find a way for him to do it. It's funny though, because one day Ross decided to randomly throw the soccer ball to Rossy in the house, just to see if he would catch it. Mm-hmm. And after about 3 tries, Rossy caught the ball, and then he actually threw it back.
Yes.
And he was so excited. It was like this huge celebration. Rossy, he celebrates everything big. And so he's like, I did it, Mommy.
He did. Yeah.
And I was like, that's crazy, because I never thought about him doing that.
Right.
It's not that I didn't think that he could. I just never actually thought about it. And so we were at lunch with a friend the other day, and she said, does Rossy play any sports? And I looked at her like, you do know that I told you he was blind, right?
Right.
And she was like, I know. And I was like, oh, well, no, he doesn't. And she was like, because he's blind? And I'm like, she really made me check myself, is it because he's blind? But I really think it's because right now he doesn't show any interest in it.
Right.
And we don't have like a big, huge sports household. Like, we don't host parties for football, baseball, things like that. So, but anyways, if he's interested, we will absolutely allow him to do it.
I love that. Sure. Rossy's always talking about driving and going on transportation.
Exactly. He wants to fly a plane.
Absolutely.
Or drive a train.
He does.
Mm-hmm. Or a bus.
Oh, Rossy. So really quickly, is there anything else that you would like to tell, somebody that maybe is just finding out that their kid might be visually impaired, or maybe that they might be losing their vision a little bit later in life? What are some words of encouragement?
Oh man, I would just say to keep your head up. Mm-hmm. It may seem very dark. It may seem like really lonely. these are things that I wish that someone had said to me when, when we found out these things about Rossy. It may be hard, but it's not impossible, and it's going to be easy, and you're going to be able to love your child the same way that you love any other child that you have. Utilize every resource that's out there, whether you think it will work or not. And, don't close yourself off from people who show up as friends or people who show up as help, that they may eventually become family because they learn your baby.
Absolutely.
Sometimes more than you learn your baby. I will call you sometimes and ask you questions about Rossy. I'll send a random text to you about Rossy. And I'm appreciative that I have you and LaRonda to help me understand better how to advocate for my baby, how to really care for him. And so, I think that it's not as hard as it seems. And it's certainly not as bad as what the doctors will tell you that it is.
Well, and I love that you came here today to talk and share a little bit about Rossy and about your story. You mentioned community. Community is a big thing. We do have a really big community here in Louisiana. So, if you're watching and you have somebody young or old that is losing their vision, please reach out. We'll get you in touch. There's a lot of organizations and stuff. And two, I just want to say thank you for continuing to advocate for Rossy, but also letting him advocate for himself. That's one of the episodes we had talked about previously, but it's been so amazing to see Rossy just come to life every single day and tell you what you want and stuff like that. So I just want to say thank you for coming on. I appreciate, and we hope to see y'all soon.